Hey guys, this is the ECOLINEAR chicken coop. Found this on Amazon. It says it is 54 pounds. It's dusty on one side because I've had it outside for a couple of days. But I'm gonna put this chicken coop together today and see what it's like, how big it is, how hard it is to build, and other things like that. I'm actually gonna see if I can use it to keep my cats outside instead of in the garage where they're currently at, so they can come and go as they want and still have a safe place to go. So let's get this thing put together. I recently put together this outdoor cabinet. It's made out of cedar, and I can already tell from opening this package, I can tell by the smell that this is cedar too, so it should last outside a good long while. So just cut up in the box. Looks like all of it is just put in one box, and I'm sure if it's anything like the outdoor kitchen, there's just gonna be a lot of pieces to put together. But I got time, and let's get it done. Okay, so here are all the pieces. So there are 19 main pieces involved in this build, and then there are some other dowels and square stock that we'll be putting together as well. I did find in there that there are some instructions, so that's what we need to get started. And then there's also a bag of hardware as well. So let me crack it open and see what kind of tools you're gonna need to install this thing or to put this thing together. All right, so I got the hardware out, and it looks like we're mainly gonna be dealing with Phillips head screws on everything. So there are a lot of screws in this project, just like there was in the garden bench. But so I would recommend getting a screwdriver if you've got one on hand. Otherwise, you can use it with a hand screwdriver, but I would recommend getting a drill for this project. The first step is to install these tray runners on the bottom of the chicken coop. This will be a side wall, and this is the middle wall. But I will say already, step one, it's very hard to figure out where these went. If this was the inside, if this was the outside. I looked at some pictures. It seems like this is the inside, and I kind of skipped ahead in some of the instructions, and it looks like these tracks, these tracks here go on the outside of the coop. So I'm pretty sure that this is the inside, and I know that this is the inside because you want to keep the hardware cloth, the piece of it actually on the inside rather than the outside. It makes it look nicer. But anyway, I think I just got step one done, but I will say right off the bat, like, instructions already kind of hard to follow. Okay, I wasn't planning on making this an assembly video, but I think with the instructions the way they are, I'm gonna kind of go a little bit more step by step. So there is the middle wall, the outside wall, and you attach it to this back wall that has the roof pitch on it. So this side you screw 3 screws in, and then this side you screw 2 screws in. There's going to be a gap at the bottom. That's where the chickens are going to run up inside. And then the next step is going to be to put this other panel on this side. One thing you have to look at is the screws. There are a few different sizes and lengths, so you'll have to kind of count them. Some of them, they're all in millimeters too, so if you're not real familiar with that, that could be challenging. But I lay it out just like it is in the instructions so that I can put things where they go, and when I need this screw, I'll go grab that. When I need this screw, I'll go grab that. So the difference between, for instance, these screws and these screws are hard to tell the difference on paper, on the instructions, but you can tell that they're a little bit longer. Just think of these screws as more structural. This is just kind of holding stuff together. But anyway, so on to the next step. Okay, so quick recap to where we are. First of all, we installed these runners inside here for the tray that will have the waste. That's where you'll clean it out, the clean out tray. That's what I was trying to say. And then next you install these 2 walls onto this back wall that has the gable, and then you put this 4th wall on. So now we've got a box that we can work off of, and the next step is actually to add right here the egg, where you get the eggs out. So that's the next step. So that's step 4. Okay, so there are actually 2 steps to get this thing on. You bolted these sides on to make it really strong, and then once those were both on, you installed the floor, and then you screwed this end piece in. I will say that instructions probably are a little bit easier once you understand which screws go where, and figure out that the first step is kind of the only tricky thing that I've had so far. Other than that, it's basically just lining everything up and screwing it in. So the next step is to put the roof on. Okay, missed a step. The next step was actually to put these dowels inside, and that's where they're gonna roost. So anyways, don't forget that before you put the roof on, otherwise it might be a little bit more challenging, but still doable. Okay, so that next step was to put the roof on. And if the instructions aren't clear, you want the side without the trim to be on the bottom, so that when rain comes down, it comes off the side. And then you just almost have to guess the placement of screwing through the roof into the side. You just want to make sure that you hit the side on both, and that's your chance to kind of square it up. You might have to bend it a little bit in one direction or another in order to make it all aligned. But then the next step is to put this to put that cap on, and we'll screw that, and I'll see you at the next step. Okay, so the next step is going to be to put the ramp on, and then you'll put these 2 long pieces on. So for the ramp, you use the small screws. For the long piece, you use the longer screws. So let's do that, and then I'll check back in with you. So 2 things to note with putting the side on is that, again, the hardware cloth staples go on the inside so that it looks nicer from the outside. And then also there's this door here, and it's got this lever. It's gonna go through this hole on the side over here, and you got to make sure that this door is in before you install it, otherwise you won't be able to get that door installed. So it seems like all that's left to do is put the ends on and put the top on. Okay, so the sides are on, the end is on. The next part is to screw this square on top, and then the next step is to install hinges on this end so that this square can lift up and you can access inside here. So I think what's left is a little bit of hardware, and I'll install that, show you what I did, and then we'll talk again. Okay, so I got the hardware on. So this is what all was involved with that. There's a piece with clasp that goes on this top piece that folds, the side piece that folds, and then this other little door on the side. And then there's also this piece you put on, and what this does is, I don't know if you can see, it pushes as far as this. So once it's out, you can drop it down, lift it up, probably just keep it up or keep it down. And then you install these pieces of wood here. This wasn't really straightforward where to put these, but I installed it there to lift it up and set on. And the same thing with this one over here. So put away, it just sits there, but when you're ready for it, you lift it up and pull it up, and it'll open it. So that's it. That is the completed assembly of this product.